you all just finished a U-try where I asked you all to identify the vertex, axis of symmetry, domain, and range for the function g of x equals -2 times x plus 1 squared minus 1. So you can actually do all of this without graphing if you'd like to. So the vertex, let's start there. So in general, we have this like a times x minus h squared plus k equals your f of x. Like that's the general vertex form for a parabola, where h and k are your vertex. So for us, notice that it's x minus h, not x plus h. So x plus 1, that's the same thing as x minus -1. So your x-coordinate of your vertex is actually -1, not +1. The y-coordinate, you notice it's plus k, not minus k. So that -1 is really the same thing as plus a -1, right? So the y-coordinate of your vertex is -1. Okay, there's the vertex. Your axis of symmetry is always a vertical line, so x equals a number, that format, and it's always x equals, and it'll go through your vertex, which means it goes through that x-coordinate of your vertex. So x equals -1, because of the -1 x-coordinate, is your axis of symmetry. All right? Domain and range. So sometimes it's helpful just to do a quick sketch. With this parabola, because it has a -a value, it's going to be opening down. Okay? So it's going to open down, and the vertex is going to be at the point -1, -1. Okay? So for your domain, if you want to think about it algebraically, any number can be added. You can add 1 to anything. You can square anything. You can multiply anything by -2, and you can subtract 1 from anything. So there's no restrictions at all on your x values. If you want to think about it visually over here, it's going to go to the left forever, it's going to go to the right forever, and it's going to include every value in between. So your domain is all real numbers, so that's -infinity to +infinity. Last up, your range. So your range, you think about like how far down does the graph go? Well, it keeps going down forever, so that would be -infinity. How far up does it go? It stops at the vertex. That's how far up our graph goes, okay? So the y value of your vertex is -1. That's going to be the highest y value that you get in your range. The -infinity has a parenthesis because you can't include you cannot include infinities. The -1 has a bracket because it's included. It has a point there. So that's what your range looks like. If you want to think about the range algebraically, what's going to happen is basically the negative. Hopefully you guys realize that flips things upside down. But basically, whatever x value you put in, the highest thing you're going to get here is having a 0, essentially. Because anything else, this is a positive number, and a positive times a negative gives you a negative number. So bigger numbers give you bigger negative numbers. Smaller numbers give you smaller negative numbers. And so the least you can do is, make it a 0. And then 0 minus 1 would be -1. So that's kind of that minimizing how negative it is. Okay? So there you go. There's your vertex, axis of symmetry, domain, and range for that function.